Hi guys, welcome to the White Horse down in southwest London. We're here today because Pilsner Urquell invited us down to brew with them. We're doing like a mini homebrew competition with them. They've given us a Pilsner recipe, just a basic one, and we've been told to do whatever we want with it. So we're competing against other teams across 2 days to try and get our beer brewed for a beer festival at this pub in a couple of months' time. So what we've done is we've taken their classic Pilsner recipe and we're giving it a little twist. We've taken inspiration from Germany, so we've got some German malts and some German hops, and we put that into the classic Pilsner recipe. So yeah, check out how we did it. So we've got 3.8 kilograms of Pilsner malt, 500 grams of munich to round off the flavours, and Menneler haven't been drinking yet, but that is going to give it a little amber colour and a little bit of biscuitiness, which is what we're looking for. So we just finished the mash. The next thing is the sparging. So that's where you try to get the last of the water and the sugars out of the grain before you have your finished wort. So Luke here is adding extra water, washing it all through, doing a sterling and slightly sexy job.
It's all in the pour.
It's all in the pour, my friend. Well, don't spill it on the desk. Smells like my hometown because I used to brew where I was born near Oxford. And we got into the playground age 5 and it just smelt of that. Sweet, malty, a little bit biscuity. It's like a malt biscuit. Okay, so we're at the point where we're choosing our hops. Because of the German-Czech split that we're going for, we've chosen a German hop for the bittering, Tettnanger. That's what we're going for. So that's not going to provide a huge amount of flavour, but it's going to provide the bitterness that we want. So we want it a little bit more bitter than your standard Pilsner to give it a really, really, really powerful finish. So we're going to bitter with that. And then when it comes to the hopping for the aromas, which we add at the end of the boil, we're going for 2 Czech hops. We're going for saaz, which is the classic Pilsner hop. That's what they use in Pilsner Urquell. And then we're also going to add a slightly more bitter, slightly more grapefruity, citrusy kind of hop called Kazbak. It's another Czech hop, so we're keeping that concept. And hopefully it will have, it's not going to be a super hot beer, it's very, very traditional, but it's just going to have a little extra edge on top of what you'd expect from a normal Czech Pilsner, like a Helles would in Germany. Alright guys, so we're adding the first hops in. We're adding our German hops. One day I'll learn how to pronounce it. The Tettnanger, I don't know, but yes, this is the bittering hop, so it's not going to be a huge amount of flavour, but that's what's going to add the bitterness to our beer. So 5 minutes to go on the boil, we're adding the hops. So we've got our saaz, we've got our classic Pilsner hops, and we've got our Kazbak, another Czech hop. So they're both going in. 5 minutes to go to add loads of aroma but not too much bitterness. What's happened now, the boil's over, we've added our aroma hops, 5 minutes to get the aromas out. Next thing is you have to cool it down, so we've got this thing called the cooling coil right in there. What happens is cold water is being pumped from here into there, round this coil thing, which is right through our beer. We're going to get it down to the temperature where the yeast can survive and can start turning it all the sugars into alcohol. Hi guys, so we've taken a little time out while our wort is cooling to talk to a taste psychologist, Greg Tucker, who works for Pilsner Urquell. What we want to know, so we've made our beer a little bit more bitter. Now, why do people look for bitterness in beer?
Well, it's quite interesting because bitterness is actually, when you're kind of born as a basic human response, bitterness is actually a sign of potential poison. So there's a natural disaffinity towards it. There's a rejection of bitterness. And what happens is that you acquire a taste for beer, you overcome some of that initial rejection because you want what beer stands for, those sociable good times, etc.
So when you're a teenager and your first beer, you're like, is that because you're not used to
Your
it?
body's rejecting a potential poison. But what happens when you overcome something like that is that it's a kind of challenge that your body takes on, and you're pushing it to the limits of its ability. And as you do that, you go to the edge of what it's happy with. You also, when you overcome a challenge like that, you release endorphins. You actually enjoy that thrill and that edge. In the same way as when you go down a roller coaster, you're pushing your body to the limit of what it wants to do. Like it doesn't really want to drop out of the sky for 7 seconds. So when you actually survive that, there's a flood of endorphins. So that kind of testosterone rush, pushing at the edge, people start to enjoy that challenge and overcoming that challenge. You see it in things like eating hot chilies and hot things as well. And actually what happens quite often, some people get almost addicted, driven by that rush of pushing to the edge and enjoying some of that.
So do you think that's what's happened, with these hopheads who love really high alpha acid, really, really bitter beers at higher percentages, they're pushing their boundaries, and when they have something less, they'll be like, it's not giving me the rush.
Some people are enjoying the challenge and want to go to the edge, and you get that, exactly to your word, rush. You get that kind of thrill of the chase and overcoming it. Whereas other people are just happy to say, I've acquired beer, I've got myself into that gang, that's fine, I don't need to try any harder. I don't need to do that. It's like the social runner just enjoys running and raising his heart rate, whereas the competitive runner actually wants to go to the stage where they're almost passing out. It's not right and wrong, it's just a different way of accessing value.
So you're saying that the beer geek is actually the thrill seeker?
Absolutely.
Well, last question, are we going to win?
Possibly.
Sit on the fence there. Thank you, Greg.
My pleasure.
So our Czech German Pilsner style is into the fermenter. It's going to be about a month before this bad boy's ready. Then it's going to be bottled up by Winter and Eastern Brewery, and we are going to crack them open and be judged. Judgment will pass, and if we brew that beer, then it gets presented to the Beer Festival in about September.